Sara and Cristina.
Victor, Luis, Gaston,
Nico.
And yeah, we're Walks and Talks.
We're from the International School of Panama.
To start our topic, we want you to answer this question: why is education such an important tool? We have a goal, and if there's any volunteer to answer the question, we'll pass the ball to you.
You can think about it a minute. Like we usually say, oh, let's solve everything with education, but why is education such an important tool? Why does it affect us so much?
What can we do with education that we can't do with other things? So if someone has any ideas, feel free to raise your hand.
Well, education gives us knowledge, so we can become doctors, and so when we become doctors, then we save other people's lives, and it just helps us. It helps our future, and it helps us know what when we have jobs and stuff, it helps us know what to do.
Yes.
Yes. Someone else want to answer?
Gotcha. It gives people resources to better themselves and better their education, or better their situation.
Anyone else?
Hey,
Oh, that was close.
I'm kidding.
No? Okay, I think you know the answer. I'm gonna choose randomly. Go on.
How do you think education can improve our life?
Because as someone said, education is knowledge, and knowledge is power. People need to empower themselves for further changing things.
Knowledge is power.
Any other ideas?
No?
Okay, perfect.
Alright, so in our presentation, we're basically going to answer this question. So you came up with some good ideas. Our goal is going to be to answer our essential question, which we're going to talk about later, and also so that you guys understand why education is so important.
Okay, so as we already said, we come from Panama. And have any of you gone to Panama? Yeah, where have you gone? To the city? Yeah. So when you went to Panama, didn't you see a contrast between beautiful architecture, but poor areas and rural areas in Panama City? Panama is known for it's one of the worst educational systems in the world, and it is ranked number 15 in the world as inequality in the country. We can see I'm gonna show you a picture right now. You're gonna see the beautiful, as we were said, beautiful architectures that the government has put all their money into, but they haven't helped the rural areas where education is actually needed, or infrastructure, in order for their lives to get better. So, like you said, better their situation. They need education to have stability. 28% of the population in Panama is poor, while the 11% is extremely poor. They don't have the basic resources in order to have a great life or a stable life. Okay, so here we can see the infrastructure. This is a corredor. I don't know how to say it.
Highway.
A highway, yes. And in one part of the ocean, there's the hotels, beautiful buildings, beautiful residence buildings, while this is a rural area, and the government is actually trying to get rid of that place in order to build even more buildings for Panama. But what's going to happen with these people? These people need help.
The economy grows, yet the inequality is not being lowered.
And yeah, it's something we come across every day. It just comes to show that we can be living in the city in that part, and then when we go to school, we'll come across a bunch of poor areas. Yeah. And that's why we feel like there's really a lot that can be done in Panama, and we think education can tackle a lot of the different issues that we come across.
Because in some countries, when to be able to reach the poor areas, you have to go far away from the city. In Panama, in the city, in Panama City, 5 minutes away from your house, you can see this inequality.
In your schools, don't you have to take a road and you see the difference between, yeah, right? And that's exactly what happens to us. Ours in Panama, you get everywhere in 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, you can see such drastic changes, which helped us realize that we need education for Panama to get better, for the children to have a future and brighten up their lifestyle.
So our view on education. Basically, we believe that education is the most powerful tool in order to solve other global issues. Without education, it is really hard to judge. For example, let's say there is a person who does not know about illegal logging, and there is illegal logging where he lives. Is it really fair to sort of blame or to bring to justice to that person that doesn't know what is being done is right or wrong? With education, he could be able to sort of denounce this illegal market, and cooperate with the national security to prevent this market from occurring.
Okay, so our goal. You might be wondering why we start Walks and Talks. It's basically because we believe in the power of education to tackle other issues, global issues. This is because education is the fundamental basis of life, and it's through education that we are able to resolve other problems. Our main goal when we created Walks and Talks was to teach a group of kids younger than us about these global issues. This is because by teaching them what are the global issues and ways to prevent it, we're able to cause an impact and lower the way these global issues have an impact on the community. So for example, Panama has a really big problem on water, like water is really contaminated. So we taught them about how to clean the water so they can drink it. That's a way of we had an impact on their lives. Although one might think that teaching a group of kids in a small area in Panama won't have a really big impact on the community, it's wrong, because basically kids are the future of humanity, and we strongly believe that we have to leave better kids for the world instead of a better world for the kids.
Alright, so I'm going to talk a bit about our project itself and what we based it on, why we started it, and what we did basically. So, first of all, as we were coming up with a project, we all believed that it's really important to have a role model in life for anyone, whether it's your parents or a teacher, a friend, someone older than you. It's really important and vital for growth and progression. So as we were thinking about a project, we decided that we could start this project, and through that way, basically step up to the challenge and become the role model of some children that maybe they don't have role models at home, and that they go to schools where they don't learn about many things that affect their lives. So we decided to become the role models of these kids for a couple months, and while our project was developing, we came up with several topics to teach them about, including illegal drug usage, water deficit, deforestation, and global warming, all of which we think are very important, yet the school does not teach them because they're expected to learn these in their homes. But very often the parents don't talk about these things, nutrition and health as well. They don't talk about these topics, so we thought it was very important to open their eyes on such subjects. So that's why we started going to this school called Domingo Faustino Sarmiento, which is about 25 minutes from the heart of Panama City. And we started going here every Saturday, every Saturday, and we alternated in between activities, like interactive activities to engage them in these topics, and also educational talks about these topics in order for them to learn. And it was a great experience, and it was a group of about 20 kids that they showed up every week. They were willing to learn, and we taught them through just the power of speaking and teaching them, and Jeopardy games, PowerPoints, and
Okay, my experience, Walks and Talks was just amazing. Like at first I thought it wouldn't work because the talks might be too hard to explain, or because like kids, I didn't know a kid who wanna go like a Saturday morning to school. But like the first talk, there was about 20 kids and they were all willing to learn. We talked about water deficit and deforestation, and we did a PowerPoint and then asked questions about the PowerPoint in the Jeopardy, and they knew everything, like everything. We had to make new questions so they could answer them and see who could win.
We had to improvise because we were really
Yeah.
surprised.
They were so smart. I was constantly surprised how smart they were throughout the whole project. We learned so much from them. They were really smart and they were really energetic and they wanted always to learn. There was these kids who always were willing, like they wanted to tell us. They wanted us to tell them about, I don't know, Mars, about breast cancer.
Yeah.
They really, like, we asked them and they were like, you can teach us whatever you want, but we love those talks. And well, my favorite talk was about drug usage. Like after we did the PowerPoint and the Jeopardy, I felt like they didn't really know like the real harm of drugs. So I talked about personal experiences. Like I didn't take any drugs, but I have been like in an environment, and I told them like our friends that took them or about things like that, and they finally understood like, wow, this actually affects us, and that will help like them in future situations. They will know how to get out of those situations. And overall, it was an amazing experience, and if any of you want to do it, I encourage you totally. I loved it, and I don't regret any of it.
Because also from spending so much time with them, because you spend like 2 or 3 hours each Saturday with them, you start to learn more about the culture of your country. Because there's some stuff that you don't know, but then you learn about the area where they live, and you realize there's more problems in your country than what you thought.
We are also not I think none of us are from Panama, and we wanted the kids. I think one day we suggested them for them to teach us about Panamanian culture. We want to know what do they think about Panama, what do they love about Panama, Panamanian culture. None of us are Panamanians, and we want to know what's the real struggle in Panama.
Like
that
not
they
only
actually
we
face.
teach them, but also they can teach us. And most of our talks like were based on Panama facts. Like water deficit, we use facts about what happens in Panama and the effects in Panama, so they don't think it's like, oh yeah, that happens around the world. No, it happens in Panama, it happens in your country, so yeah, you should worry about that.
Yes.
And as she said, none of us are from Panama. Like I've lived there for almost 12 years now, but still, as we went to these schools, there were things that the kids taught us, and it's just the changing culture. It allows for them to just teach you things about how they live, and this made it easier for us to teach them because we were able to basically like get an understanding of what they know, what they don't know, and how they live. What the things that they learn about and the things that they have no idea about also, and that's how we chose our different topics, and that's why we think that education was so powerful when we talked to these kids.
Something that surprised us was that they had a recycling program already in that school, and that was we didn't think that they were recycling that much, but it showed us that in Panama there is a lot of awareness for recycling. It's something that is.
We also learned that for the kids, the school is in the valley, at the bottom of a valley, and the kids live at the top of it. And just for them to get in school, they
we
take
asked
like
them,
2 hours walking.
Yeah, we did an interview and we asked them like, how much does it take you to go to school? And they were like, oh yeah, 20 minutes. And we were like, yeah, but in a bus. And they were like, no, walking. 20 minutes, 2 hours, 1 hour. Like it varied, and for us it's all bus, it's all cars and everything, and it changes completely. Like they have to walk, and it's really hot in Panama,
Yes.
so it's totally different. And when it rains, they're not
Yeah.
able to go to school.
There was even a day that it rained and
We had to cancel.
only 2 kids were able to show up because most of them cannot.
Yeah, and
Cannot get
there's
away
like
to
a
school.
rainy season of 9 months in Panama, and it rains horribly. So yeah, you can imagine how much they miss school.
Okay, we made a website to be able to keep track of all we do. Each Saturday after the meetings or Sundays, we made entries of our experience, what things were wrong and what things we could change, and how we could improve everything.
You can find the website in the brochure.
It's
It's
called
walksandtalks.
walksandtalks.tk. And well, here is home. This tells about us and how we started the project. Then in our project, you can find a curriculum to be able to do our project. Like if you want to take this and do it in your community, you can look at here and you'll find how to do how to get the project started and everything.
The curriculum is going to be up there, and And if you want to do this in if you know any areas that you could, or a school that you could go to, then I think it would be great. You would really like it. And basically the way we did it, like the curriculum that we followed and the steps that we took, and when we planned everything, will be on the website. So you can go there and use that as like a base.
Yeah, and you can come to
start your own
us
project.
if you have any questions.
We also did our experience, so every time we went there, we created a journal entry for us to even reflect on what we just did, and even like told the kids that they can go, and even though it's in English, we can read them for them, like for them to feel special as well, that they can learn something new and they can be someone in the future.
Yeah, there's also a photo gallery and a calendar, which is.
So okay, so some photos.
Yeah,
of every.
To be able to not bore the kids every Saturday with talks and just talk to them, we did one Saturday we went and we introduced a new topic, or drug usage or global warming, or any of the topics that we're going to teach. And the next Saturday we went and emphasized on that topic again, but with activities. We went outside and play interactive games.
Yeah, and when we finished, we played, I don't know, soccer or any other games, and they really liked soccer, so we were really excited.
Yeah.
And also a calendar of every
Previous month.
topic.
From previous month. Previous month. Okay. So here you can see, first we had health talk and then health related activities, and that's how we organize each activity.
Okay. Okay, so, well, we would like to finish with our first question was, how can education help solve other global issues, help tackle other global issues? And we use a quote from Domingo Faustino Sarmiento, which was that the future of a nation depends on the education of a country's citizens, exactly. Yeah, very confusing. But basically, our contribution was that we would teach our global issues such as water deficit and others, which they could implement in their society. They could teach them to their brothers, maybe even parents. They could expand it just as we did. They could do it with their families and relatives. And basically, we hope that you guys also can do this project, and we really think it's a great idea, not only to generate a great impact in your society, but also to learn from the kids, which they would, like, the gratitude that you feel from doing this is extremely amazing. Thank you.
And also, basically, the reason that we chose education to expand a bit more on this question is because when we were choosing the global issue that we wanted to focus on for our project, we chose education because we feel like it's one that it can really attack or tackle and help to solve so many others. You can teach kids about global warming, and you can start projects about many different things. You can make wells in poor areas, but we chose education because we feel like if we teach kids about these certain topics, they can then implement them in their culture, teach them to their families, and therefore we're basically solving several global issues or helping to solve them through the power of the children, the future generation. And this is why we chose education, because we feel like it expands on so many other issues, not only actually getting children to learn, but having them learn and then implement this or what they learned into their community.
We also felt that we know that helping a community, like for example, if they have a really dirty community and picking it up, of course that's helping. But at the same time, we have to teach the kids, because if we clean them, I mean, it's not that we're always gonna go there and clean it. They have to know that that's their community, that's where they live, that's their country, they should be part of it and not like.
And they should take care of it.
They should not expect other people like even the people from the community, they should not expect other people that, oh, they're gonna pick up the trash. And that's why education tackles all these global issues. That's why we chose it, because without education, I mean, who would know like where our world would be.
That's it for and like,
Do you have any questions?
yeah, before we go into the activity, does anyone have any questions about the project or the topics in general?
And we're also planning on continue with the project.
Yeah,
After
and maybe
we
going
go
to
back
other
to Panama.
schools.
And yeah,
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to a new school.
but it's not gonna be as frequent.
Yeah, it's not gonna be as frequent like every Saturday, but maybe every other Saturday.
We would also like to have some suggestions, like,
Yeah.
or feedback,
Or any topics
in order
we
to
could, like,
improve
teach
our
them about.
project,
Yeah.
or not.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
What got you guys like started, or like what gave you guys the idea for this project?
Okay.
Well, we paired up with, there was an NGO that helped these schools, like the school that we helped. They basically remodeled it. They like improved the the facilities so much, and we thought it was a great idea to pair up with them so we could develop our project in their school.
Yeah,
And we,
we
like,
they
thought-
completely restructured the school.
Yeah, we thought like, okay, we're not gonna teach them like math and things like that we don't really know. Like we're not experts, we're not teachers, but maybe we can teach them things that like actually happen in the world, and that's like what we thought.
Because as I said, like we chose a certain list of topics because we chose not the things that they learn about in class, because we feel like they're learning that in school, but we chose topics that they're expected to know, and but sometimes they don't receive that education from their parents or from a role model, as I stated earlier. So that's why we chose these topics, to open their eyes to the society that they live in and get them more involved with with where they live.
How did you come up with the name for your program?
Gaston.
I think someone, our
Nico,
friend,
you wanna really?
Well, yeah. So we were actually we were doing a PowerPoint to introduce our project to our classmates, and we had the idea we knew from the beginning we wanted to do a sort of combine interactive activities with talks. So the way we came up with the name, we wanted to do something in talks, sort of like a 2-word thing, so that people would know that our project consists of 2 different like teaching methods. And then a friend gave the suggestion to call it walks and talks, and we thought it fit well because walks for the activities and then talks for when we gave the speeches about the different topics.
We created our own logo. Like there was a contest of logos.
oh yeah,
And like if you tweeted the most, like, oh yay, and then ours won, and we have our own logo.
yeah, but we had
we
to
had
pay
official.
for it, so then I was taking graphic design classes, so I just did it again.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Do you guys are the only ones who go to those like schools, or do you invite more persons?
No,
Yeah.
like anyone in our school can come. Actually, there's another girl, but she couldn't come to the trip.
Yeah.
She really helped a lot, Sophie, and yeah.
And we had like
But
several occasions.
anyone can come, any friends can come.
Yeah, like a
high
lot
school,
of friends
middle
told me
school.
like, can I go? And it's not that early, it's like at 11. So yeah, anyone can come, and anyone who wants to know.
So if you're in Panama and it's a
Yeah,
Saturday
if you wanna go.
and it's 10 in the morning, you can come if you want to. Okay, so we have like 2 mini debates if you're going to participate. One of the questions is, which age group is the best to target? This is your opinion, and we want
Because these are 2 questions that we had trouble when we started the project, so we want to know your opinions to see if we did.
Which age group is
Everything.
the best?
It's 2 questions that can really that can go both ways. So if someone believes in like one side of the question more than the other, if they want to maybe talk about why they believe it, so we're gonna explain the questions. The first one is this one's the one we're gonna do now. Which age group is the best to target? So when we started the project, we weren't sure if we were gonna do this with older kids like middle schoolers or elementary children. So
Yeah, because there's the pros and cons for each age category. And the second one is teaching about drugs and sex ed appropriate for kids from 8 to 10, which is the age that we went for at the end? Or would it encourage them and work as a way of advertising the two topics in a way? So we're going to talk about the first one to start off. Does anyone want to share their point of view on the question? Like what they believe?
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you guys are like teaching them like about just events that are happening all over the world, I really think that honestly all age groups would be good to teach, because if this is a poor school and they don't know much about it, then it's not really going to matter what age, because if their parents don't know, then they're not going to know. It doesn't really matter what age they're, they just kind of are going to need to learn about it.
Is that we thought like we're not gonna teach like we're 16-year-olds and we're not gonna teach 16-year-olds because it will be like, yeah, you're 16-year-old, what are you teaching us?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I understand.
I agree.
Anyone else?
I think okay. Now I forget it. The next question is teaching about drugs or sex ed appropriate for these kids from 8 to 10, or would it encourage them? This also has to do a lot with age. Yes.
No, I don't think it wouldn't. It wouldn't encourage them, and it's appropriate because, like, if you learn it at that age, then you would know later in life. Then you wouldn't, and you would know the consequences. Like, so, and you have them in your head like earlier.
But wouldn't I agree with you 110%? But don't you think that
They will get curious.
you know, because you know how kids are,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, it's dangerous, I want to try it. So
Yeah.
like that relates a lot
Yeah.
with the first question. Like teaching these things to what age group?
Yeah, we
do
were
you think it's
debating if
appropriate
we
for
should
them
like
to taste it?
actually like teach them about drugs or like not, because maybe that would encourage them. But yeah.
Yeah, we also consider like sex ed.
Yeah,
Teach
sex,
them
but I
about
think
it.
that was too early, so we didn't.
Yes.
I think that it wouldn't encourage them, but
Encourage.
but like even in like schools like Lincoln, we don't really learn that stuff until we're older. Not because it's not gonna encourage us, but just because we'd like understand it better, and we'd probably remember it.
You're more mature.
Yeah, and you'd probably remember it when you're older.
Yes.
I'm from Paraguay. I actually go to this hogar, which girls have been raped, and the youngest one is 9 years old. And they're very low income, so it depends on where you're going. Those kids are exposed to this raping from stepfather, uncles. So if the girl knows how to protect themselves, or makes it, they had babies at 10 years old. So I think in a way it's good to let them teach them, and have that knowledge what they can do.
It's better to prevent it.
Yeah, maybe it's a type of way we teach them, like like saying, just like saying drugs are bad instead of like, oh yeah, they like
should be more personal for the kids to like get it like
instead of like plain facts,
papers and logos. You get emotional. You have to put logic to it and credibility. So you have to tell your stories, and for the kids to like understand what's, like you said, to be mature about it and actually get the problem. That's my opinion.
Also in Panama, since 2 or 3 years ago, the rate of teenagers getting pregnant is going higher and higher. It's become a national problem, and the government is trying to do something about it. So maybe teaching them from a young age will help. Someone from this side of the room that wants to talk?
Yes.
Is Panama a Catholic country?
Yes.
Do you think there are moral implications with teaching them about sex ed?
What
Like, do you
mean?
think it would, like, was it difficult to teach them, like, educate them about sex and, like, safe sex if, like, it's a Catholic country?
We-
and it,
We have
We decided to not do that.
Because we wanted to know your
We decided to do drugs, but not sex ed.
Yeah.
because we wanted to know like opinions of others. Do you
There's
think
still-
it would be okay to talk about?
We're gonna talk to the kids, and as we mentioned, we're still doing this project, so it's still in development. So we might still talk about sex ed, and it was just one of the reasons why we were considering not talking about these two topics was because we felt like either they were too young to understand it and really actually take in what we were explaining to them, and also because some of our friends or colleagues also told us that it could maybe encourage, not encourage them, but maybe go as a way of advertising it and throwing the topic out there without them actually learning, since they're perhaps not mature enough.
Yes.
So that's why we're
Yeah,
still
can I
considering.
say something? I also come from a Catholic school, and there are other problems involved in that. In fact, I was just listening to all of you as young people. We do have some problem with parents sometimes, and they are not gonna let us teach.
Yes.
Besides that, I am so sorry, but I don't feel that to this problems here, you would need a person that is more qualified to talk to
yes.
kids.
That's another reason.
So we had kind of program there that we have either teachers or some other people that come and talk to the kids.
Yeah, more
Specifically drugs and sex, we're working with the brain, we're working with,
Maybe it's like
sexuality.
psychology.
She's
Some
a
other,
PE teacher.
yeah,
so she can come.
psychology, for example, you have someone that if you recognize, especially that a student tells you something that, when you tell him, this is happening, and then, he's gonna trigger something that he has already seen or has already happened to him or to her, and they have to report. At this point, you're not the one gonna listen to that, and that is something that involves some other people that would come to the community and really get the facts done and solved.
I want to jump on that. I'm their PE teacher, and even having them last year in physical education, we had the topic sexual education. I didn't teach it to them. I had psychologists coming into the class, and I think we had a really great week together with her. And I think it's good to have sometimes professionals teaching a specific topic. So.
Yeah, they have, especially kind of heard about it. There's always more involved that you might not know.
Yeah.
And I do not feel, I'm a math person. I don't think I would like to do that either.
Yeah, and I think that having a certified person or a professional person, like the kids goes like, whoa, like if she's saying that she's a professional, like she or he would like get more impacted by it.
Or like, it's about you also protecting yourselves.
Yeah.
We don't want to be caught
Yeah,
in something like that. It's
exactly.
something
Yes.
very, difficult and serious.
Yeah.
To discover that something is happening, and sometimes the kids will tell you or inform you by a drawing. Are you qualified to proceed in their own drawings or what they are going through? So that's why if you have another person, this person will see that, they will be able to identify this kind of
That's one of the things we considered, because as still teenagers, them talking to us, we knew it was maybe not going to be very easy, and they weren't going to be open about it. So that's one of the reasons we scratched it out of our list, because we could only choose 5 topics because of the time that we had, and all those factors. It was one of the reasons we didn't want to do it.
I in fact did not say that you have to take it out of your list. I
No,
said that you have to
no,
bring
sure.
someone
Yeah.
who can really talk
Yeah.
to these kids, because I love the project. I mean, I like what you're doing, and I love what you're doing. That's great
And
for
that's
kids.
something that we can do.
There's something that finding someone in the community that could do that.
Even that could be happening, because there was a little girl that told us that she would like us to talk about how to control your emotions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that we can.
Yeah.
And we were not we're teenagers. We're controlling our emotions. So
Not control yourself.
yeah, we're not
teenagers.
teenagers.
We can't even control.
How are we gonna talk about that?
Yes, and I
But
think
yeah.
the girl, what she said about emotions and your mind, a psychologist should come and
So-
be more official about it.
And we have time to do that in the future, to get someone qualified to do it. So
That's great.
You wanted to say something, or?
Okay.
does anyone else want?
Suggestions, questions? Nothing? Oh yes.
Why you want to change the kids you're working with? It takes, as a teacher, when you are like role models for those kids, it takes time for you to connect with them. So if you go to another place, I mean, these things, the first time you teach them, they are not retained. You need to reteach them in a different way and reteach it. So maybe working with the kids for more time, that you will have a better impact on those kids, and if they already know you.
To create
We're
a
not
bond.
thinking of changing the kids. We're
Like
more
keeping,
thinking of
but-
going
still going to
That's
Los
cool,
Amigos
and then
and
others.
expand,
Yeah,
expanding to
expanding.
different.
Yeah, because
Like
we
we're
know
not
that
leaving that
Because we're
school
not
behind.
leaving those kids.
if we want to have like a real impact, then of course we have to stay with them more time and.
And they
keep on
really like us.
bringing the
Like
topics
they're
up.
really happy when they see us. And so
When we finished, like, oh, we're not coming because we're coming to Argentina, they were like, but please, can you come after?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
leave
they
us.
were like,
Oh,
it was
yes,
really
of
touching.
course, we're coming. And I think that like our project is actually making an impact with them.
So we're gonna stay with them. If we go to another school, we're gonna be doing both, and we're not gonna leave this.
Yes.
Any
Thank
other
you. Does someone else wants a brochure? Because we have 3 more. No? Everyone? Oh, she stole it. Do you have one?